The courtroom had never been this still. Not during Christine's testimony. Not even during Mary's fiery return to the stand. But this moment was different. Today, the judge held a sealed envelope in his hand, one mailed just 3 weeks before Garrison died. It was postmarked, notarized, and addressed simply, "To the judge who will hear the truth." No one dared to breathe, as the judge carefully broke the wax seal and unfolded the letter inside. Within seconds, the silence didn't just crack, it collapsed. Color drained from Kody's face. Robyn's pen slipped from her fingers and clattered to the floor. Christine froze in her seat. Because the first line of that letter wasn't about grief. It wasn't forgiveness. It was a declaration of war. "This is my last opportunity to save my mother and bring my father to justice." That was how it started. What followed was even more explosive. Names, exact dollar amounts, and mention of a second sealed letter hidden in Garrison's truck, addressed to Janelle, one that would change everything. What Garrison had written was never for cameras or public eyes, but now it was on record. Permanent. Unstoppable. The truth, long buried, had finally arrived. Ask yourself this: what would you do if your child's final words tore your entire life apart? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. Courtroom began to buzz as words spread. The judge was going to read it, Garrison Brown's final letter. Not a goodbye. No. She did not walk back into the courtroom immediately. Janelle stood in the hallway, clutching the envelope with both hands, as if it would disappear if she let her grasp loosen. She leaned lightly against the wall, not shaking, not panicking, but different, as if she had been standing on ground that suddenly turned to a thin layer of air. Whispers raced like wildfire inside the courtroom. The murmuring never stopped after the first letter was read from Garrison, though the judge hadn't returned yet. Christine sat in stunned silence, one hand pressed against her chest, fighting to steady her breathing. Mary did not say a word. She was still staring at the empty chair that had held Kody when he stormed off. Her silence was much louder than any accusation. And Rob and she was coming apart. Her shoulders hunched inwards, mascara streaked down her cheeks. Her lips moved silently, as if pleading for anyone to stop this. She continued to glance toward the doors. No one was coming. The air seemed heavy, as if something awful had already happened and something worse was on the way. Then the doors opened. Janelle walked in slowly. Her eyes weren't red. Her face wasn't crumpled with grief. She looked like someone who had already mourned and chosen resolve instead. She held the envelope up. The judge had returned and nodded once. "Do you consent to submitting this as evidence?" he asked softly. Janelle paused. Then, steady as stone, she said, "I do." The courtroom locked into place. Mr. Eldridge replied, cautious. "Sir, you are on record now taking away Janelle's rights. Are you positive you want to proceed without advising them?" "They'll find out eventually," Kody said. "I want it done before then." Christine slammed her hand onto the bench. "You absolute snake." Robyn collapsed inwards, covering her ears, rocking back and forth. "He didn't mean it like that." "He didn't," she sobbed. The judge halted the recording. "Let the record reflect," he said firmly, "that Mr. Kody Brown instructed a fiduciary to move assets in secrecy, and that he verbally acknowledged his intent to exclude multiple legal stakeholders from estate decisions." Mary stood slowly. Her voice shook, but her posture was unbreakable. "He told me we'd all get a fair split," she said. "That's why I didn't fight for the Flagstaff house." "He promised Coyote Pass would be for all our kids," Janelle added softly. Christine turned to Robyn. "You knew, didn't you?" Robyn didn't answer. She couldn't. This was no longer just emotional fallout. This was legal manipulation, financial betrayal, trust fraud, and possibly felony concealment. And the judge knew it. He looked down at the final page. "There is one more entry," he said, "a personal paragraph." Courtroom leaned in. Mom, I know you'll blame yourself for trusting him. Don't, the judge read. He used our love. She reached for it. Her fingers trembled not from fear but from grief. Grief for the son who had left this behind, fully aware of what it might unleash. She sat down on the cold concrete floor, reaching up and lifting the lid. Inside were only two items: a worn brown envelope and an old black camcorder. Christine reached for the envelope first. Inside were photocopies of trust documents, but these weren't ordinary copies. They were marked up, annotated. Every line that Kody had changed was highlighted. Every beneficiary adjustment, every time equal split had been crossed out and replaced with new percentages. 100% to Robyn's legal children. The bottom of one page there was a handwritten note, unmistakably Garrison's. This is what destroyed him, this is what made him lie. Christine's chest tightened. She wiped her face, then reached for the camcorder. It was old but charged. A faint battery icon glowed on the screen. The video began to play. Robyn helped him file the papers, Garrison's voice said quietly. I saw her at the bank. The image shook a little as he adjusted the camera. She told the guy she was a legal co-owner. She signed something. I couldn't see what, but it was right after the fight with Janelle. Right after Mom said she wanted out. Christine hit pause. Now her hands were shaking. This changed everything. The judge stared at both of them, then he slowly leaned forward. I hereby order a forensic financial audit, effective immediately. After that, Robyn never went back to the courtroom. The minute the judge ordered the audit, she slipped out through a side exit, head down, supported by her attorney, her face hidden behind trembling hands. This time, no one followed her. None of them hurried after her. And maybe for the first time, nobody cared. Inside the courtroom, Christine, Janelle, and Mary sat side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Their alliances had been tested before, torn, stretched, and almost broken. But now they were sitting side by side. But in death, Garrison had done what Kody never managed to do in life. He pulled them back together. And now it was Mary's turn. Court called her to the stand. The bailiff delicately asked if she needed a moment before testifying. Mary shook her head. No, she stood up, walked forward, took the oath, and faced the judge head-on. Ms. Brown, the judge began, you were present during the period when the family trust was updated. Do you recall ever signing any documents that removed you or your children from beneficiary status? Mary let her breath out slowly. No, sir, she replied. I was told everything remained equal. The judge nodded. And who told you that? Mary turned her head and stared directly at Kody. He did. Kody shifted uneasily in his chair. Did Mr. Brown? He pointed at Robyn. She was the only one who stayed. You rewrote the family legacy, Janelle shouted back. You sold us out. I gave everything, Christine said. Mary's voice rang out, finally unleashed. I gave up everything. And Robyn, now sobbing, whispered, he told me we had no choice. The judge stood. Enough, he said sharply. Silence. Complete silence. The room fell silent. I am putting a temporary freeze on all accounts connected to the Brown family trust. No withdrawals. No transfers. Effective immediately. He turned to the bailiff. Mrs. Robyn Brown will, until the full extent of her involvement is determined, remain under the supervision of the court. Christine gasped. Robyn collapsed into sobs. Kody instinctively stepped forward. You can't do that, he said. She's the mother of my children. The judge shot back without hesitation. You ought to have thought about that prior to transferring $400,000 into hidden accounts. This was no longer a family dispute. This was a legal battlefield. And the final blow hadn't even landed yet, because the judge was now holding one last document, something Garrison had signed just 2 months before his death. And it wasn't a letter. It was emotion. The room wasn't moving. Not when the judge spoke. Not when Kody's mouth fell open. She didn't. Not a word. Truth had already been said too much already, and what remained unsaid would speak louder in court. The bailiff laid a firm hand on Kody's shoulder. He shrugged it off but walked out anyway. Slowly. Like a man dragging the ruins of a crumbling empire behind him. The room exhaled as the slamming shut of the door finally broke the tension. The judge turned towards the others. This court will reconvene in 48 hours to review all the evidence submitted from the blue box, the camcorder, financial records, and prior emails. He first looked at Janelle. Miss Brown, be prepared to testify about property rights and historical trust agreements. Then to Mary. Your testimony with regard to access and concealment of information is hereby entered into the record. Finally, Christine. You will provide the full contents of the blue box, including all digital files for analysis. They all nodded, faces solemn but resolute. The judge rose but did not leave. His tone was heavy, a warning implicit. This, to me, is the most complex family trust abuse case that I have ever seen, and I've seen some monsters. But what makes this different is how it was orchestrated under the illusion of unity. That makes it more dangerous than anything I've ever encountered. He left, and the courtroom fell into quiet reflection. Christine leaned towards Mary. Do you think we'll win? The screen faded to black and a single sentence remained. I left a backup just in case. This is what I couldn't say before, he said, bringing his face closer to the camera. For it's not only about money, there's something else. Christine's chest tightened. Courtroom held its breath. Garrison's voice shook now. It's about his signature. Mom, check the sale deed from 2021. The one they told you signed. Check the ink, pause, check the ink. I saw it. The real one. You didn't sign it, Mom. Someone forged it. Courtroom was silent. Christine's mouth opened slowly. The judge was frozen. Janelle slumped into her chair. What? Robyn exclaimed suddenly. No, he's wrong. That's not, he doesn't know. Christine turned on her. You forged her signature. Robyn stammered. I never. Kody said it was fine, he said. The judge raised a hand sharp. Enough. He turned to the clerk. Get me a forensic document analyst immediately. This was now officially criminal forgery, land fraud, and Robyn was at the center of it. The voice of the judge hardened. Until this is reviewed, you are forbidden from making any property decisions, banking withdrawals, or document filings. Robyn slumped back in her chair. Christine turned to the screen. Garrison's face remained frozen there, like a ghost witnessing the chaos he had left behind. He hadn't just written a letter, he had built a case. And now it was